best way to annoy a scammer by phone. Story 1. Make up outrageous lies to their questions. How much would you say you spend on your energy bills each month? Oh, about 1,200. How big is your house? About 5,500 square feet. How many people live there? Just me. But I have about 25 to 30 cats, depending on the day. Is your home powered by electricity? Nope, hydrogen fuel cells. It's part of NASA experiment. My uncle works there, that's how I got in on it. Story 2. If you have time, go along with it but act really stupid, or just waste their time with silly questions. Put them on hold for ages. There's so much fun to be had. I get the ones about being in a car accident and asking if I want to claim compensation a lot. I just play along then. When they get to asking what injuries I sustained, I tell them I died, or tell them my head came off and I can't get an erection anymore. Story 3. This morning I got one of the car warning ones. I told them I had a 1983 Toyota Mustang. They told me to have a nice day and hung up. I think next time I'm going to try to get a warning for my Jaguar. And watch as they slowly realize that not only am I not talking about the car company, I have also mistaken my standard-sized domestic cat for a much larger cat. Story 4. At our shop, one of us will answer and say, "Oh, you need to talk to Dave about that. Hold on." Then Dave will get on in a minute or so and say, "That's above my pay grade. Let me transfer you to Chuck," and so on and so forth, around and around. I think our record is 10 transfers before they just hung up. Story 5. Basically be a contrarian. I got a call from the IRS one time saying I owed them tons of money or I would go to jail. I told them I'd already been to jail and wasn't afraid of going back. They said they would repo all my possessions, and I told them I was basically homeless and didn't own anything. They said they would contact my family and try to get the money from them. I told them I was adopted and didn't have a real family. The last thing he told me was that he was in the process of contacting the police, and I told him I was already at the police station. He hung up pretty angrily. Story 6. This question reminds me of my grandfather. He used to get calls from scammers and try to sell them stuff. A conversation would go something like, "Scammer, hello, sir. We want to let you know that you are eligible for a discount on your life insurance policy. All you have to do is give us some information, and we will apply the discount." My pap, great. Just give me 1 minute. Holds for a minute. So I have this 1997 Chevy Cavalier. She has high miles and a little rust on the door, but I can part with her for $1,000. You interested? Scammer, no thank you, sir. But back to where we were. I just need your name, address, and social security number to vary. My pap, will you drive a hard bargain? How about 750? That's more than fair. Scammer, sorry, sir. I'm not interested, like I was saying. My pap, 500. Scammer, sir. My pap, 450. At this point, I'm practically giving it away. Scammer, sir, I don't want my pap. Okay, for 150 it is. Phew, you drive a hard bargain. Now all I need from you is your name, address, and social security number, and we are set. Scammer, have a nice day. Click. I used to love staying at my grandparents' house and hearing him do stuff like this. Thanks for reminding me of some great memories. I think my grandmother used to do this unintentionally because she was so hard of hearing. She'd say hello like 3 times, and then the scammer would launch into their spiel, during which she'd mishear some words they say, and then launch into a tangent about something she saw on Oprah or Bill O'Reilly, which could take between 2 and 10 minutes. Then she'd say she has to go to the bathroom, and then explain her bowel problems and the importance of being regular. Most of them would hang up long before it got there, but there were a few stubborn ones. Story 7. I used to work in a restaurant, and we would get scam calls saying we need to pay them now, or they're going to cut off the business's power. They would claim they had their person outside right now, but if you pay them in gift cards now, they wouldn't cut it. The craziest thing is the caller ID would even show up as the power company's name. So we always knew it was them calling and would take turns with them. We would always play along and say we were going to get them and so on. And then as soon as we claimed to have the gift card and they were ready to take the numbers, we'd go, "Oh, wait, they'll just pay this online." They would instantly hang up. Story 8. Have you read your Bible today? God is coming, and there's nothing you can do to stop him. Starts reading Bible scriptures. They usually hang up on you after the today part. Story 9. This is more to do with telemarketers, but it's the same general idea. My family had a bit of an amusing litmus test for ferreting out unwanted callers before they could run through their spiel. Our last name, while easy enough to pronounce, looks like it requires one to imitate the sound of an engine block exploding. And that's just the first syllable. As a result, folks who don't personally know us often have trouble getting it right on the first try. And this led to our household rule. If someone on the telephone mispronounces our last name, then they're fair game. Now, granted, this occasionally resulted in some hilarious misunderstandings, but it was an effective enough tactic for the most part. My parents were absolutely fine with letting me answer calls from unknown number too, which gave me ample opportunity to improvise counterattacks. Perhaps my best attempt came one evening when I was 13 years old, as I ran through the following exchange. "Good evening, Mr. The man on the phone began." "Oh," I interrupted, feigning a ridiculous accent that was somewhere between Indian and Swedish. Yes, you're knowing that I have just purchased this phone number. This isn't Mr. No. I hurriedly interrupted again. No, the name you're having is being incorrect. I am Mr. You're on Edouard. There was a brief pause from the other end. Well, Mr. Edouard, you said you just purchased this telephone number. Yes, I gushed. Yes, it is so nice to be calling all of my friends and family because they're living still in Gerania now. Don't bother looking for Gerania on a map. You won't find it. I see, replied the telemarketer. And are you happy with your long-distance provider? In response, I offered only a sputtering cough and gibberish. And what if I told you, the telemarketer continued, that you could pay up to 50 less than you are now for your long-distance phone service? Yes, the shriek even hurt my ears, and I was the one who'd offered it. Yes, tell me, please, how can I be having this low price? Well, answered the telemarketer, let me take down some information, and we'll get you started. What did you say your name was again? You're on Edouard. Great. How do you spell that? I'm sure the smirk on my face was audible through the phone. Yoriana said idiot. Got it now then, Mr. Edouard. Do you have I'm sorry, I interrupted yet again. Can you please to be reading back how you spell my name? I'm not hoping for mistakes. Oh, of course, the telemarketer replied. Yurian, IDIOU. The last thing that poor fellow heard was the sound of Euron Edouard, cackling with evil mirth. TLDR waste their time with an impromptu performance. Story 10, I answer with hi. ID like a large half mushroom, half pepperoni pizza. For pickup, they either chuckle or get mad before hanging up. If it automated, I press 0 until I get someone, or it hangs up. Story 11, I recently discovered that rubbing your finger over the speaker on your phone generates the most terrifying and demonic sound that's ever come out of a phone. Pair that with some whispering and maybe a little Latin, and you can really spook people. Story 12, I kept getting robocalls about car warranty stuff, so whenever they would call a line ID say, I own a 2016 Chevy Ligma. Most of the time they would hang up. One time it happened that it was an older lady, so I hear her in the background asking coworkers about what's a Chevy Ligma. I hear someone tell her to hang up. About a week later, I get a call from the same people. I tell the guy, it's a 2018 Chevy Ligma. He just sighs and says, man, they got in the system as a 2016, and I can't believe someone put that in there. You think that is funny? Ligma nuts, you need to grow up. I was laughing too hard to say anything at that point. I haven't heard from them since. Other great things to do. Act really interested in whatever they are selling, but tell them your phone is about to die and request a number you can call them back at. If they give it to you, harass the out of M. Then if they send you to voicemail, leave messages like you're their party bro and you just scored a bag of Coke. Most of that is monitored. Story 13, we get these at work constantly. So I'm excited to try some of these responses. Here are some of mine if they start asking for the owner of the company or general manager me. I just repeat, I can take a message. Until they hang up. Sometimes they start asking for the owner GM name. And I keep on with I can take a message. They get so angry, and it's wonderful. My favorite, though, and I stole this from my aunt, is the following: we found a problem with your Windows. Okay, hang on 1 second, and let me check. Come back 5 minutes later. All right, sir, I checked, and all my windows are closed and locked. There doesn't seem to be any problem. No, the Windows on your computer. I need you to get on your computer. I can't get on my computer. They'll break it. Just open Windows and I'll walk you through some simple steps, sir. It is 20 degrees outside, and I am not opening my Windows. No, on your computer, and just keep going like that at its spelling. Story 14, I always try to convince them to quit their job. What do you tell your parents you do for a living? I'm sorry. Do you tell them that you steal from old ladies for a living? Click. Story 15, tell him you don't want to answer his questions. It should go like this. You don't want to answer your questions, sorry. Him, why? You, this is a question. I want to answer to your questions. Most of the time, they either say bye, and if they don't, then say by yourself. Story 16, if it's that scam on your computer about your computer has been infected with malware due to pornography, call this number right now. You can have some serious fun. I kept acting really oblivious and asking questions like, do you think it was the type of I watched? And then going into graphic detail about the most uncomfortable things I could imagine. Oh man, that was fun. The scammer got so uncomfortable. Story 17, pretend that you're having connection issues. Yeah, it's a MasterCard. Number 23SE-48. Just keep pretending to drop the connection every time they ask for crucial information. Story 18, I had a lady trying to get me to come look at some timeshare in Williamsburg, Virginia. Telemarketer, so Gogos RX, do you have kids? Me, yep. T, great, you can bring them with you, and we'll put you all up in a hotel room. MO, that'd be awesome, T, so how many kids do you have? M7, T, wow. Yeah, I'm the luckiest man in the world. I got 7 daughters, and they all hot. T, well, you'd have to have 2 hotel rooms, which we could do a mono. They all sleep with me. T, Gogos RX, you can't have 7 people in the same hotel room. And wait, I can't. I told you they're all hot, right? I was impressed. She continued with the spiel. Story 19, I have a voice that makes me sound like a little girl. Even though I'm 41 years old, I've been told I once pretended to be an excited girl speaking to Santa on the phone, listing various collectibles I wanted for Christmas. If you don't have a little kid voice, but maybe have a kid, maybe you could tell the kid Santa's on the phone and let the kid take it from there. There was one woman I heard before did something very interesting. Not me, someone else. She put her young daughter on the phone and told her it was favorite celebrity's name. LOL, that person on the other end of the line, I felt bad for them. Story 20, when I was a kid, Stupid Aragon came out, and I was convinced I could get a book published when I was 15, even though my parents weren't publishers. So I signed up for a bunch of self-publishing things and got all kinds of in the mail thick catalogs that explain the process and show off different sizes, types of books, and how much you can make, and of course, how much it costs. I got over that phase and forgot all about it. Then I started getting calls from salespeople trying to get me to pay them to publish my book. These calls came in years later. I remember being in high school and thinking, why would you wait this long to follow up? When I bought my first domain from GoDaddy, a salesperson called the very next morning asking if I wanted hosting. Anyway, with these publishing people on the phone, they asked what my book was about, so I sent them on a long, as BS made up on the spot adventure about vampires living in Germany circa 2075. Thank God for Amazon these days. Story 21, if they ask for Mr. Hot Fornaga, just say no, sorry, he's just in the other room, go get him for you. Hold on one moment. I just leave them waiting until they hang up. Story 22, unfortunately, most of the scams I get now seem to be robocalls, so it's no fun anymore. I used to try stringing them along, asking dumb questions like which computer is it that has a virus? Yes, but which Windows computer? We have several. Is it the one running Windows 98, or the one running Windows Me, or one of the three running Windows Vista? Story 23, my fiancée literally just screams like she's being murdered into the phone and hangs up. Scared the out of me the first time she did it while I was in a room. I didn't know she normally did that until I witnessed it. Story 24, I talk very quiet for a little while, occasionally saying I'm having a hard time hearing them as well. Try to get them to increase their volume to hear me better. Once I think they've dialed up the volume enough, I blow as hard as I can for as long as I can into my phone's microphone until they hang up or their eardrums explode. Story 25, I just keep them on the phone a long time, pretend to go along with everything, but once they think they have a fish, I ask them to hold on. I just have to change the baby hold on, let me find my wallet, etc. I put the phone down for 5 minutes at a time, and I figure every second I keep them on the phone, they aren't scamming some poor old lady. Story 26, I pretend that I'm a detective with the homicide squad, and the number that they called was the victim. I then ask them some standard interrogation questions and ask them to come down to the station to give a statement. That usually gets them to hang up pretty quickly. Story 27 was drunk when I got a call from one and decided to humor him, and just around, but during his part where he tried asking about gaming and to sound relatable, we actually got to talking, and he turned out to be a really cool dude, and we ended up talking for 2 hours about music we like all the same, and even about his recent breakup that really him up. Kept waiting for him to get back into sales mode and try get me to buy some shitty internet deal, but when I said I had to go, he admitted my deal was good, and there was nothing he could even think of offering. Ended up adding him on Instagram and chat every now and then. Story 28, I was working on my house for a few months and usually had headphones on. What a great way to pass the time while my hands were full. Running power tools, grunting into the phone while working, using strange accents, acting really stupid, giving out random strings of credit card numbers, leaving the phone by my panting dog's mouth, speaking in really hard to understand accents, talking as slow as possible, letting them get almost there and hanging up when they call back, rinse, and repeat. To name a few. The best was to call them back over and over again, nonstop, going through the entire call room until I got referred to the manager or someone who recognized me. The outrage on their part, which blew me away. They know they are people out of money, often mentally ill or the elderly, and they have the stones to get mad at me for eating their time. That did not happen often, as usually no one answers the phone. I don't have as much free time now, but when I do, tell me more. Drive a screw? Oh, really? How does that work? Cut with a skill saw. Sorry, I could not hear you. Can you repeat that? Start clip. Do you need a credit card number from me? Rinse, repeat. Story 29, not annoy as such, but if they call when I'm with friends, we play a game. It's kind of a mixture of pass the parcel, hot potato, and just acting improv. It's a very fun, often funny game of play, especially if you've been drinking. Step one speaker on the whole idea is that in between questions, you pass the phone along to the next person in the room, so that every time a question is being asked, they have a different person answering them. The idea is to see how long you can do this without the call ending. If the scammer hangs up or figures it out, whoever is the last person to have talked loses if they start asking questions regarding the voice changing. You can save yourself by finding an explanation that satisfies them enough that they continue as if nothing's happened. An answer can be as short as a yes before changing person or as long as a life story. A huge part of the game is remembering what's been said by others, so you can keep the narrative straight despite the voices changing. It's great when you're in a room with lots of drastically different voices. Though if the room has similar voices, you can also have fun by having people put on accents. The reaction from scammers varies, but it's quite easy to get 10 to 15 passes in before they figure it out. We've only once gotten so far with it that we ourselves had to hang up, because unless we gave credit card details, he was going to hang up. When pleading for more details from him, we were still passing the phone round. Recently on a scam call, there was 4 of us in the room, 2 women, 2 blokes. The scammer never mentioned anything about the voice changing, to the point that whenever a female voice came up, the scammer seemed to change what pronouns he was using and everything. It's amazing how little awareness people have of changes when they're reading from a script. Scammer, hello, is this Jeff? We're phoning you about your Microsoft account. Mail 1, yes, this is Jeff. Just wonder what exactly you were phoning about, scammer, sir. We've had some suspicious activity and would like to make sure you've not got any viruses. Mail 2, oh great. I've been having some issues recently, scammer. Yes, sir, we are aware. All we need is to get access to your computer, and we can sort it out for you. Are you near your computer at all? Female 1, yes, I'm down by my computer. What do I need to do? To sort this out, scammer, well, madam, first you need to go to our website at www.scammerserkins.com. Female 2, yes, okay, I'm on it now. What do I need to do? Scammer, miss, hit the download link, and then it'll read you a special code. Once it's all installed, mail 1, okay. While it's downloading, is there anything I should know? You get the picture. Once you set up the very basics of the call, you can get weird with it. We claimed our internet was slow and started asking the dude personal questions while we waited for the download and install to happen. Again, changing person between responses. Story 30, the honest, not funny answer is to immediately hang up or not answer spammers' calls. If you stick through the automated message and get to a real person, your number has most likely gone onto a list of phone numbers that represent people that actually answer the phone. That can mean you get even more spam calls than usual because they know you have a working phone number. Story 31, one time I was watching TV and someone called after I figured out it was a scammer. I started talking to them about the show and who I thought was the killer or what I thought would happen next, etc. They hung up, of course, but I was bummed I didn't have someone to talk to, so I tried calling back. No one picked up. Story 32, I just keep asking, with genuine interest, how the scam works. This happened the other day. Hello, sir. I'm calling to help you reduce your Visa or MasterCard debt by $5,000 right now. Oh, wow. Okay, so, do you work for Visa or MasterCard? Well, neither. Is this something you're interested in? Yes, I'm extremely interested. So are you going to put money in my Visa account? Well, no. The way it works is, does it work if it's American Express? No, look, will you let me finish? I just have so many questions. Where do you work for Visa? Finally, the guy literally said these words, and I died with laughter, sir. I fully believe you are too stupid for this deal. Story 33, I talk nonsense while switching the mute button on and off to simulate a bad connection, and periodically will interrupt them with hello. Are you still there? Hello. I've actually had them call me back trying to get a better connect, then sigh in frustration and hang up. Story 34, I had a company who claimed they were from Google and that my business wasn't showing up properly for years. They would call 3 to 4 times a day. About a month ago, I would pick up and only respond with YARP or NARP. They haven't called any of my stores in 3 weeks. Story 35, not by phone, but my friend had some Jehovah's Witnesses come to his door and ask him, have you found Jesus? Without missing a beat, he said, I didn't know he was missing or that I was supposed to be looking for him. How long has it been? Where's he last seen? Has anybody called the police? They left and never came back. Story 36, the best thing to do when you have a scammer on the line is to keep them on as long as possible. You are both wasting their time and delaying their next call to another potential victim. Scammer, hello, sir. My name is Thompson, and I am calling from Visa credit cards. Your Visa card ending in XXXX has been alerted by our system for having been flagged for an unusual purchases. Tell me, have you made a large purchase in the amount of $498 American and 98 cents from our scam company on this date, etc., etc.? Me dripping sincerity, gosh, no way. Thank you so much for contacting me, no problem, sir. We can put a credit on your account. First, though, I will need some information to verify your identity. Yeah, sure, go ahead, you betcha. Thank you. At this point, I have adopted a more casual cadence. My mannerisms become a little more homespun, and there's a certain drawl to my smooth storytelling style. I do this for 2 reasons. The first is that it takes longer to talk that way, and I'm all about wasting time. The second reason is that this kind of diction and persona make me seem dumb and gullible, which is exactly what these scammers like. Have you wondered why these Nigerian prince needs good faith money wired email scams remain the same after all these years? Because while 70% of the population is smart enough to see through it, 30% is dumb enough to fall for it. And if you fall for it, there's a chance they might be able to make some money off you. They try not to waste time on the big chunk of people who can see through their scam. Their script is designed to weed out the rational thinkers and appeal to the emotions of their target audience. Sir, do you have your credit card handy where you can see the numbers on it? Yep. Thompson, that I do. It's going to take me a second to get to it. Though, is that all right? Can you hang on a second while I get to it? At this point, Thompson is thrilled. I let him fumble through his little scam script without cutting him off or hanging up. He is so close to the finish line of his little scam that he will be willing to stay on the phone for quite a while as long as he feels I'm still working with him. Before much longer, I'm going to have to give him a plausible reason for why it's taking so long. But that can wait. For now, I'm going to wander around with the phone on my chest for a few minutes, tooting and muttering to myself. I will run the ice maker in the door of my fridge, let the dog through the squeaky patio door with a bunch of who's a good boy, then water the plants. Sir, are you still there? Yep, Thompson, just give me a sec here. Just one sec. I go put the kettle on. You still there, Thompson? Well, let me tell you why it's going to take a while to get to that card. You see, I thought I was getting scammed the other day, so I froze my credit card. You froze your credit, sir. I put in a big OL Ziploc bag of water and set it in my deep freeze. She froze up solid, but it melted in or out. Now, hopefully the kettle whistle blows about this point, and Thompson breathes a sigh of relief. This idiot didn't actually freeze his credit. He doesn't even know what that means. If he asks what I thought I'd accomplished by keeping my card in the freezer, he'll say how the hackers can't get through the freezer walls with their Wi-Fi. And if he has anything to say to that, he'll just keep stubbornly repeating, better safe than sorry now that I have melting. An ice block as an explanation for keeping him on the phone. My apparent foolishness plus his greed equals $signs in his eyes. First, he'll keep him interested with the tale of how I came to realize I was getting scammed before he called me. I was at the farmer's market and I found a guy selling pants. Now I know pants don't come from farms, but I thought maybe you could grow the wool or harvest the denim from the cows, or whatever. And blankets are made from chickens, right? I didn't have any cash, but the farmer said he could take a picture of both sides of my card and take care of it when he got home. I thought that was very nice of him until I got home and discovered that the pants I had were not the pants I picked out. They didn't fit, and one wasn't even pants, but a sweater that had the arms sewn together. So then I got suspicious. I remembered that the guy didn't really look like a farmer. He had fancy clothes, and his mustache was all wrong. Now I've seen farmers with mustaches, and some with beards and some with nothing. But no farmer I know would have one like this. It was like that guy in that movie, maybe it used to be a show, then a movie, long pause, well, he'll think of it, really skinny mustache anyway. But his tractor, he didn't have a tractor at all, just some old black car with a big trunk. Now, all throughout this rambling little story, I am occasionally throwing ice cubes at the sink for a little authentic noise. He'll occasionally make an aside about how grateful I am for all the good work he's doing, how what he does for a living is honorable, and how I bet he sleeps well at night knowing that he's helping people. At some point, I'd like to give Thompson a little stress test suddenly, and without warning, in the middle of a sentence. Without pausing or taking a breath, I yell H-E-Y, at the top of my lungs and turn on the garbage disposal for about 2 seconds. Without missing a beat, I return to my previously calm tone of voice and say, sorry about that, Thompson. I should have warned you earlier and try to train my dog to stay off the couch, and he's scared of that noise. Pause and chuckle. I bet you thought I dropped my car down the garbage disposal. Even if he hadn't been thinking that, he is now also laughing about this little misunderstanding gives me pretext to laugh without breaking character. I can use this garbage disposal trick more than once, and then can follow it up with slamming the patio door and yelling out. As much fun as this would be, eventually I'm going to run out of stories or ice or random noises, and I'll have to end the call. To waste just a little more time, he'll pretend to be confused about which numbers they're looking for. So, the first 3 numbers after the second 4. So like numbers September 10th, 11 on my card. Alright, I look after the second time I see the numeral before I give you the next 3 digits. You do mean the bumpy numbers on the front of the car, right? Yes, that's right. Gomez Adams from the Adams family. The farmer had that kind of mustache. The last 3 numbers on the car, like the expiration date. No, I said, 1 second. Yeah, on the back, I see the last 3 numbers, but there's 4 of them. When there can be no confusion as to which numbers I am to give him, I blow my emergency camping whistle as hard as I can. If I had an air horn, I would blow it too. Then, whenever he recovers and starts cursing, I'll hang up and call Visa. Hello. Make sure you're recording for training or quality assurance purposes, and put me through to fraud, please. Have I got a story for you? If you get a telephone scammer who wants you to log onto your computer, follow all above steps, but treat them to the sound at this website. And once they hear that, you can say, yeah, it's still loading every 5 minutes for the rest of the call for now. Scammers are merely dragging the net, trawling for the dumbest 30 who will fall for their tricks. You did not win the lottery if you did not buy a ticket. And if you did, you should probably have to be the one contacting them. Your lawyer is not arriving in your state today in your brand new pearl white Mercedes. Do not send money by wire to anyone you do not already know. Do not cash a check sent to you by an unknown party, then agree to return a portion of it to them. Do not pay anyone in gift cards. Be safe, and be careful. We are lucky that for now, human-powered phone calls are cheaper than the computing power required to do the same thing. When a computer can crack the code for every cardholder in less than a day, the program won't be targeting only the gullible. It will hit everyone at once and keep the money from that segment of the population who can't be bothered to pay attention, and I'm afraid that number is already higher than 30. Story 37, tell them you need to put them on hold without giving them a chance to reply, then walk away from the phone and ignore it, eventually just hanging up without a word. Story 38, I just got a call a few minutes ago. This is Jessica for the Chronic Pain Clinic. What pain are you experiencing today? Me, hi. This is Jeff from tech support. Could I get your ID? Please, disconnected. Story 39, if you mess with them or waste their time, you're also wasting your own time. Just tell them something to get them to sit on hold forever. Maybe occasionally peep back in and say something like, oh, he's in the restroom, or he just stepped out of the office, etc. Story 40, ask if you could put them on hold for a minute, then go take a massive while still on the phone with them. Grunt, push, beg for mercy. Vigorous wiping sounds holy. That's a lot of. Flush. Okay, I'm back. So where were we? Wait. Hold that thought. Here comes round 3. Start moaning as loud as you can. Story 41, I watch a YouTube video, maybe on Reddit or maybe on FB, of a guy talking to a scammer, and every time head get close to rambling off the rest of his credit card number, head get distracted by his dog walking in and doing something funny toy or something on head, and the scammer getting more and more frustrated but trying to stay calm. The guy recorded the call, then animated it, and I've been looking for it for a long time and keep coming up short. Anybody else seen it? Story 42, when I was a teenager and they'd ask for my parents' ID, play stupid. ID have a different story every time. Pa is drunk way out back tinkering on the tractor, and I haven't seen Ma since she left grocery shopping, and talk about how hungry I was or how excited I was that I want to cruise. It's okay that you can't tell me how I won, but let's talk about what I should pack. I'm so excited after some time and making them hold. ID tell them my husband kept all of our personal info, so ID have to call them right back. To be fair, I only did this to scammers. Oftentimes the people that are trying to upsell your cable bill or collecting on that long-forgotten medical bill don't want to have to call you, but have just taken a job to make ends meet until they find other work. That actually happened to me when I did medical and auto billing for a company that serviced many hospitals. They rearranged office responsibilities, and my job was given to another office in a different state. Instead of being fired, they transferred me to the debt collections department. It was the worst several weeks of my career. I ended up taking a job I was overqualified for just to get out of collections. I felt terrible asking people to pay their medical bills when they'd already lost everything else. Story 43, my father would always basically mock them with his superior knowledge of computers. It'd go like this: were detected an issue with your Windows device. Oh, okay, which one? Your Windows one. I have multiple Windows devices. Tell me the MAC address of the device. Effective line drops. Story 4499 of our scam calls are from Indian call centers. My husband and I answer the questions using Hindi swear words. I'm a half, and I can't speak it, but I know all the bad words. Sometimes the people get super offended. Sometimes they laugh. Story 45, I was babysitting a few little kids when one of these asshats called my house. I pretended that I was in the middle of kidnapping these kids. It went on for 20 minutes or so. I had the kids in the background screaming to let them go home. I told them I'd have to put them on hold a few times so I could finish the job. It was great. By the time the dude's manager gets on the phone, he was cussing us out. I had to take the phone off speaker so the little kids couldn't hear it. I've had about 3 or 4 of these calls, and I just drag them out as long as possible. Press the C4, etc.